Hi everyone, today I'm going to take you through a leveled up lower body session. And by leveled up, I mean we're going to be adding in some equipment. So we're going to add in the ankle weights and the ring. Don't worry if you don't have this equipment, that's absolutely fine. You can do this whole thing just using your own body weight. You will still get a really good burn. So whenever you're ready, meet me in the middle of your mat and we will get started. So we're going to start with the ankle weights on. So grabbing your ankle weights, wrapping them around your ankles. Velcro on these are always so hard to get undone. And then we are going to come up into a standing position. We're going to get started straight away today. I'm just going to pop my hair out the way. We're going to start in the middle of our mat and we'll start by lowering down into a squat and lift. So as you lower down, bring your hands into prayer and then lift. I want you to make sure that all the weight is in your heels, sending your hips behind you, chest is nice and high. So if I come to the side, you lower down, lift and squeeze. Your feet should be slightly wider than hip distance. And when you come up, try not to send your hips too far forward. We don't want to hyperextend the hips, you just want to squeeze the glutes at the top. Having all the energy through your hands, starting to warm up through the lower body here. Inhale as you come down, exhale to lift. Sending the energy through your fingertips. Like I said, just getting nice and warm here. Make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. You don't want them to come in or you don't want them to go out. They should be tracking in line with your toes. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. On this next one, hold it down for me. We're going to go into crab walks now. So you're going to step the foot out, in, out, and in. Stay nice and low. Focusing on your breath here. Try and stay nice and low if you can. Just stepping the foot out and then bringing the other foot in to meet. So not all the way in, making sure that your feet are always slightly hip distance apart. This is just us warming up. You can do it. On this next one, all the way across to the other side. And then back into the middle. Hold it there. You're just going to give me tiny little lifts halfway. Lower down. Lift and lower. For 8. 7. You can do it for 6. 5. 4. 3. 2, last one, hold it down, just hold for 5, 4, my thighs are burning, 3, 2, 1, and lift it up, shake those legs out, well done. I'm out of breath already. Okay, come into the back of your mat. I want you to take an inhale, bend the knees, hands come up overhead. Exhale, tuck the chin to the chest, slowly roll yourself all the way down. And then walking your hands out into a plank, then drop your knees, send the hips back into a child's pose. Just rocking from side to side and then coming up onto all fours. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Just moving my hair out the way again. Okay, you can either stay up here if you are okay, or if you have sore wrists, you can come down onto your forearms. Extending that right leg long, making sure that your hips are parallel, pointing through the toe. You're going to lift that leg up, lower down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower down. Try and have a nice flat back. And from here, I really want you to start to draw into your centre. So drawing your belly button back towards your spine, being mindful of that rib to hip connection, squeezing the glute at the top, then tap it down. Just 5 more here. For 4, keep that hip nice and still. For 3, 2, on this last one, hold it lifted. I want you to flex through that foot, keep the knee at the same height as your hip. You're going to bend your heel in and extend away. So we're going into hamstring curls here. Exhale, inhale to come in, exhale to come out. Again, making sure that your hips are parallel to the mat. Pushing out through the palms of your hands so you're not dipping into your shoulders. Really pushing out through the palms of your hands. You got this. Just 4 more. For 3, really squeeze that hamstring in. 2. On this last one, hold it here. You're going to drop that knee down to the mat. Lift and squeeze. So going into those donkey kicks. Lower. And lift. Nice and controlled. Just 8 more here. For 7. 6. Really squeeze that glute at the top. Last 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one, hold it at the top. Just give me tiny little lifts up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down. Shake the hips out from side to side. Okay, straight into the other side. No time to waste today. Left leg goes out long. Make sure that hip is down towards the mat. And imagine that I'm there with you and I'm pulling that leg slightly further away from you, finding that length and space. From here, you're going to lift that leg up, lower down. Exhale to lift, inhale, lower. Those ankle weights soon start to feel like 10 pound, nice and heavy. Make sure that you're looking towards the edge of your mat. Nice long spine, drawing that belly button back, connecting to your center. Exhale to lift, inhale, lower down. Try not to hold your breath, try not to clench your jaw. Just 3 more. For 2. On this last one, hold it, lift it. Flex through that foot, keep the knee the same height as the hip. You're going to curl that knee in and extend. Squeeze that hamstring to come in, extend. Just 8 more. For 7, 6, try not dip into that lower back. Last 4, keep the ribs nice and high. For 3, 2, on this last one, hold that knee bent. We're going to go into those donkey kicks. You're going to lower down, lift and squeeze. Lower, lift. Inhale down, exhale up. Really driving through that heel. Making sure you're not tilting open through those hips. Just 5 more. For 4, 3, 2. Last one, hold it lifted. Tiny lifts up and up. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And open those knees nice and wide. Push back into a child's pose. Well done. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Great work. Okay, from here, flipping on over to our side. So I want you to be on your left side body so that your right leg is the one we're working first. Coming all the way down onto your side, you're going to bend that bottom knee so it's in a 90-degree angle. The top leg is at hip height, flexing through your foot. Before we start, focusing on that center. So drawing your ribs down towards your hips, belly button is back towards your spine. Everything should be in one long line. Shoulders are down, lengthening through the crown of your head. Okay, so flexing through that foot, really pull those toes in towards you. From here, you're going to bring the knee into the chest, extend away, bring the knee in and extend. I just want you to take your hand to your top hip and I want you to push it slightly further away from you so you create a gap underneath your ribs. And try not sink into that hip the whole time. If you need to keep your hand there, you can do. Or if you want a challenge, hand comes behind the head, making sure that hip stays in place. Really squeezing through that heel as you drive the leg away and bring it in. Just 5 more here. For 4, 3, 2, 2, squeeze that glute on the way back. Last one, hold it here. I want you to point through that toe. You're going to give me tiny circles. This is where those ankle weights start to feel really heavy. Just focus on that breath. Try not to pop out of your rib cage. Just 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, hold. You know it, reverse those circles. Round for 8, 7, 6, 5, lengthen that leg even further. Last 3, 2, 1, hold. Tiny lifts up and up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and tap it out. Okay, straight on over to the other side. Like I said, no time to waste today. We're getting it all in. So coming down to lay on your right side body, bending that bottom leg in to a 90-degree angle so your knee is in line with your hip. Your shin is parallel to your mat. Top leg is out. Push that top hip away from you like we just did, making sure you're creating a little gap underneath your ribs. Flexing through that foot, you're going to bring that knee in, extend, in, drive that heel away. Try not to collapse into your hip. Inhale to come in, exhale, push it out. Again, focus on those ribs. Try not to flare through the rib cage and keep that knee nice and high. I don't want you to bring your knee down to meet the other knee. You're keeping it at hip height, or if not slightly higher, the whole time. Really squeeze the glute on the way back. Just 3 more. For 2. On this last one, hold that leg out. Point through your toe, go into those circles. Again, if you want a challenge, you can place the hand behind the head, or if you need to, you can place the hand down for a little bit extra stability. Focusing on the breath. Just 5 more. 4, 3, 2, last one, hold. Reverse those circles. You're just here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. From here, just give me tiny little lifts to finish for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop that knee. Tap it out. Okay, from here, we're going to actually take the ankle weights off now, but don't put them to the side just yet. I want you to just hold on to them. So coming down to lay on your back, we're going to go into a shoulder bridge series. So grabbing your ankle weights in your hands, and I want you to place one on each hip. From here, you're going to roll the hips up, so scooping that pelvis under, rolling your hips up all the way into your shoulder bridge, and hold it here. I want you to really focus on that rib to hip connection, so not flaring through the rib cage. Ribs are down towards your hips, belly button is back towards your spine. You can hold on to those ankle weights, makes it easier. From here, you're going to lower the hips down to the mat, lift and squeeze, lower down and lift. Inhale down, exhale to lift. Sometimes I close my eyes when I do this to really get myself into the zone. So if you need to do that, you can. Just listen to my cues. Really squeezing those glutes at the top. Just 5 more. 4, 3, 2. On this last one, hold it lifted. You're going to float that right heel off the mat, so you're coming onto the ball of your right foot. You do the same thing again. But actually, let's bring both ankle weights onto that right hip. So you're going to lower down, lift and squeeze. Lower and lift. Inhale down, exhale to lift. So we're really getting into that right glute now. This is always a really good one to do if you have imbalances within your glutes. This is a good one to focus on evening out each muscle. Just 5 more. 4, 3, 2. last one, hold it lifted. You're going to lower that right heel down. You're going to float the left heel off. So you're on the ball of your on your left foot, should I say. Bring those ankle weights over to the left hip. We do the same thing again. So you lower down, lift and squeeze, lower and lift. Really scooping the pelvis under, squeezing the glute to the top. So it's like you're tucking under. It's a little tuck at the top and lower for 8, 7, 6. You can do it for 5, 4, 3, 2. On this last one, hold it lifted. Lower that heel down, keeping the hips where they are, bringing ankle weights onto both hips now. We're just going to finish here with tiny little lifts, really squeezing those hips at the top. Just 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and roll the hips all the way down. You can pop the ankle weights down now. We won't need those again. Hugging the knees in, just rocking from side to side. Taking a few deep breaths. And then placing the feet back down. From here is where you're going to grab your ring. So if you have the ring, you're going to place it in between your thighs, just above your knees. And then we're going to roll ourselves back up into a shoulder bridge. If it feels more comfortable, you can have a slight flare through your feet. So turning your toes out slightly. We're going to drop the hips down, lift, squeeze, and then you're going to squeeze that ring in. So you're going to lower the hips down, lift as you get to the top, you squeeze that ring in and release. So we're getting into the inner thighs now. Squeeze and release. Lower down, lift, squeeze, release, lower, lift, squeeze, release. If you want a little bit of a challenge, you can actually float yourself onto your heels. Onto your heels? Float your heels off, should I say. Lower, lift, squeeze, release. Try and squeeze that ring even harder. You may feel shaking between your inner thighs as you squeeze it in, but that just means it's working. So try and squeeze even harder. Lower, lift, squeeze and release. Just 4 more. Remember to tuck that pelvis at the top. For 3, last 2, last 1. Hold it lifted. From here, this is the last thing I'm going to ask you to do before we stretch. I want you to give it all your all. We're just going to finish with 20 pulses on that ring. So you're going to squeeze the inner thighs in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10 more. 10, 9. Keep those hips nice and lifted for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips down, place the ring to the side, hug those knees in. Great work, everyone. Okay, let's finish with a nice stretch. So you're going to cross your right heel over your left thigh, hug your left knee in, coming into that figure 4 stretch. Just rocking from side to side, bringing that left knee as close to your chest as you can to feel a nice release and stretch through the glutes. And then changing sides, crossing your left heel across your right thigh, hugging that right leg in. Taking a few deep breaths here, so taking an inhale through the nose and then exhaling out through the mouth, bringing that heart rate down. Just reflecting on the last 20 minutes. Feels like a long time ago since we were doing those squats. But noticing how different you feel now compared to when you first started. And from here, hugging your knees in, I want you to rock and roll your spine. Come to a seated position. Placing your hands down, we're going to go into a pigeon pose. So bringing your right heel forward, pushing yourself back into your pigeon pose. Start by pressing your palms into the mat, really sending your hips down into the mat. And then lower yourself down if that feels good for you. Making sure that your hips are parallel. And you're really driving your hips down. And then pushing yourself back up, switching sides, so stepping back into your plank and then switching sides, so your left foot is forward this time, making sure that those hips are parallel, pushing out through the palms of your hands, and then lower yourself down if that feels good. Try and make sure that your foot is flexed, so the foot in front of you is flexed, the foot behind you is just resting down on the mat, just flexing through that foot to protect the knee. And then pushing yourself up, rocking onto your glutes, and then into a seated position. We will finish with one last deep breath, as we always do. So taking one deep breath in, lifting the hands up overhead, hands come together, exhale everything out, bring your hands down through heart center. And you are all done. I don't know about you, but my glutes are on fire right now. That was such a good lower body session. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe so that we can work out together again. And if you are doing this as part of the January challenge, welcome to week 2. I really hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you on the mat again tomorrow.